been holding on, haven't you? Quietly, patiently, faithfully, waiting for life to shift, for the pain to make sense, for the pieces to come back together. You've smiled through storms, stood when everything inside you screamed to give up, and whispered prayers when your voice could barely carry your own name. You've been carrying hope like a fragile glass in a world full of earthquakes. And still, nothing. No sign, no change, just silence. But let me tell you something. Delay is not denial. Just because you haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Sometimes the silence isn't a punishment. It's a setup. It's the space where strength is being forged, where character is being refined, where your future is being aligned. You're not being ignored. You're being positioned. You see, breakthrough never announces itself with fireworks. It creeps in quietly, disguised as routine, wrapped in the mundane, hidden behind moments you almost gave up. But there are signs, subtle but powerful, that show up just before everything changes. You're closer than you think, so close, in fact, that the pressure you're feeling isn't proof of failure. It's the contraction before birth. Something is about to break. Something is about to be released. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, I'm going to show you 5 undeniable signs that what you've been waiting for isn't far off. It's right at the door. Have you ever noticed how things seem to get the hardest right before they change? It's almost as if life tests your grip just before handing you the very thing you've been waiting for. You start to question yourself more than usual. Everything feels like a battle. The doors that once opened easily now feel bolted shut. The people who used to be there suddenly go silent. The weight on your chest gets heavier, your mind louder, and your energy thinner. It's as if everything is resisting you at once. But what if I told you that's not the end, it's actually the sign? You're standing on the edge of your breakthrough. Notice everything. You are standing on the edge of your breakthrough. This pressure you're feeling, this resistance, is not here to destroy you, it's here to confirm that you're close. Right before a seed breaks through the soil, it faces the greatest resistance. It must push against darkness, dirt, and pressure to emerge into light. You are no different. When the ground shakes, when the struggle intensifies, that's the moment many give up, mistaking the pain of progress for the sign of defeat. But this pressure is the stretching before the shift. It's the tightening before the release. Resistance is a sign of movement. If you were stuck, you wouldn't feel this much tension. It's because something inside of you is pressing forward while everything outside of you seems to push back. That's growth. That's transformation. That's evidence that something is shifting on the inside and around you. But here's the part no one talks about. Breakthrough doesn't feel like breakthrough when it's happening. It feels like everything is falling apart. It feels like confusion, exhaustion, and silence. That's what makes it so easy to miss. And you're on the brink of change, you'll notice strange things. Relationships may suddenly strain, circumstances may spiral, and your old comforts might lose their appeal. You'll feel stretched, uncertain, and emotionally raw. You'll start to second guess everything. Why now? Why me? Why is it all going wrong at once? And that's when most people hit pause or retreat. They assume they're out of alignment when in reality, they're exactly where they need to be. The breakdown often comes before the breakthrough. Let that settle in for a moment. The resistance you're facing isn't a rejection, it's a redirection. It's life asking, how bad do you want it? It's the moment when your will is tested, your mindset is challenged, and your character is forged. The discomfort is temporary, but the shift it creates is permanent. Every challenge is carving out room for what's about to arrive. And the greater the resistance, the greater the release on the other side. So don't run from the resistance. Lean into it. Pay attention to what is pressing you to change, release, or confront. Because pressure has a purpose. It doesn't come to keep you stuck. It comes to move you forward. You're not being buried. You're being planted. The difference is what happens next. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Hold your ground. Keep pushing. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. And then, almost out of nowhere, something inside you shifts. It's subtle at first, quiet, soft, but it's undeniable. You start looking at your past, and instead of feeling connected to it, you feel detached, not bitter, not angry, just free. What once held your attention no longer holds your power. The memories, the mistakes, the missed opportunities, they no longer sting. They simply sit there like old furniture you've outgrown. That's not regression. That's restoration beginning. That's healing doing its work behind the curtain. That's a sign. There comes a moment in every journey when the weight you've carried no longer defines you. You stop reaching back for what was, and you quietly begin to reach forward for what could be. People you thought you'd never live without no longer dominate your thoughts. Goals you once chased out of desperation now seem misaligned with who you're becoming. That's the moment clarity creeps in. It doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself. It just clears the fog. And for the first time in a long time, you begin to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. This clarity is not loud or chaotic. It's calm. It whispers truths you once feared to face. It shows you the broken pieces you've been trying to fix that were never yours to carry. It exposes the cycles you kept repeating because they felt familiar, even if they were harmful. And now, you're seeing them. You're finally recognizing that the chapter you're closing is not a loss. It's a doorway, a transition, a sacred release. See, clarity doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it looks like waking up one day and realizing you don't want what you used to crave. Sometimes it's choosing silence over explaining yourself. Sometimes it's forgiving people who never apologize, not because they deserve it, but because you do. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's wisdom. That's breakthrough whispering, get ready, I'm coming. Detachment isn't numbness. It's the reclaiming of your power. It's the moment you stop feeding the past with your energy and begin watering the seeds of your future. It's that sacred space where you no longer feel the need to prove, chase, or convince. Your peace becomes your compass. Your intuition becomes your guide, and without even realizing it, you've stepped into alignment with what's next. And here's the powerful part. This clarity doesn't come from the outside. It's birthed within. You didn't need a new environment, a perfect condition, or someone to rescue you. You needed this moment, this inner awakening that says, I'm done surviving. I'm ready to live. When this moment arrives, everything changes, even if nothing around you has, because the biggest breakthrough always starts in the mind before it manifests in the world. So if you're starting to feel distant from what once defined you, if you're starting to see through the distractions, the drama, the noise, if you're beginning to feel a pull towards simplicity, truth, and peace, that's not confusion. That's confirmation. You're not lost. You're realigning. You're falling behind. You're letting go. And that detachment you're feeling, that's not giving up. That's elevation. And then, just when you least expect it, doors begin to crack open. Quietly, unpredictably, almost as if life is testing you, asking, are you ready now? You weren't looking for it, you weren't forcing it, but suddenly, opportunity starts showing up in places you never thought to search. The phone call you forgot to return leads to a conversation that shifts your thinking. A stranger says something in passing that feels like it was meant just for you. An invitation comes from someone you hadn't heard from in years, and you pause, wondering, where did this come from? But it's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's alignment catching up to you. It's breakthrough beginning to knock. When you stop chasing things that aren't meant for you, the things that are meant for you begin to find you. That's how it works. Life responds to your energy. When you shift from striving to surrendering, from forcing to flowing, the whole rhythm changes. Doors that once stayed shut begin to open without you pounding. Why? Because you're finally walking in rhythm with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. You're no longer chasing survival, you're attracting purpose. But here's what's wild. These opportunities don't always come dressed the way you imagine. Sometimes they come disguised as small tasks, uncomfortable risks, or unfamiliar paths. They don't shout, they whisper. They don't promise, they invite. You have to be present enough to notice them. You have to be grounded enough to say yes. Because the right opportunity will never demand you betray yourself to walk through it. It will require courage, yes, but not compromise. It will stretch you, but never break you. See, this is what most people miss. The evidence of your breakthrough doesn't always look like the end result. It looks like a nudge, a shift, a spark, a chance, something small that feels strangely right, even if it doesn't make sense yet. But the old you might overlook it, thinking, that's not big enough. That's not what I prayed for. But the real shift happens when you realize opportunity rarely comes in the form of convenience. It comes in the form of alignment. What feels unfamiliar might actually be your future whispering, come closer. And when those doors open, don't second guess them. Don't let fear negotiate you out of what you've already prepared for in silence. Don't wait for someone to validate your permission to rise. You've done the work, you've carried the weight, you've learned the lessons. This isn't random. It's a response. A response to your persistence, a response to your discipline, a response to the inner shifts you've made when no one was watching. This is what breakthrough looks like in motion. Life giving you little clues, little open spaces, little divine winks that say, I see you, you're ready now. And your only job, pay attention. Lean in, say yes. Even if your voice shakes, say yes, even if you're not sure how it ends. Because this time, it's not about being ready, it's about being willing. So if you've been noticing little openings, conversations, connections, sudden clarity, don't ignore them. They're not random. They're confirmation. They're the first visible signs of what's been working underneath the surface all along. And if you're feeling nervous, that's okay. Growth doesn't require you to be fearless. It only requires you to be faithful to the next step. And then something even more surprising begins to happen, not around you, but within you. The chaos hasn't stopped. The questions haven't disappeared, and yet there's peace, a stillness, a calm in your chest that doesn't match the storm outside. People may look at your life and think, you should be breaking down right now, but you're not. You're grounded. Not because everything is perfect, but because something deep inside of you has shifted. You're not reacting like you used to. You're not spinning in circles trying to control every outcome. You're steady, clear, centered. And that peace, that's not weakness. That's power. When you're close to breakthrough, you begin to lose the urge to panic. You stop begging for answers. You no longer need every detail spelled out before you take a step. You stop trying to force timing or chase people or manipulate outcomes. You start trusting what you feel more than what you see. And even when the path is uncertain, your heart knows something is working for me, even if I can't explain it. That kind of peace is rare. It doesn't come from outside affirmation. It doesn't come from people clapping for you. It comes from alignment. When your inner world starts matching the future you've been preparing for, anxiety no longer has room to live there. You realize that your peace is your responsibility and your superpower. It's what protects your vision when doubt tries to creep in. It's what holds your mind steady when everything else wants to pull you apart. And here's the thing. You don't need things to be easy to feel peace. You just need to be convinced that you're no longer fighting against yourself. That the version of you rising now is ready, not just for the reward, but for the responsibility. You stop trying to escape the storm because you've learned how to stand in it. That's growth. That's maturity. That's proof you've moved from reaction to readiness. Sometimes the most radical evidence that your breakthrough is near isn't loud at all. It's not in the applause or the announcement. It's in the quiet choices. The way you respond to delays without falling apart. The way you let go of what no longer serves you without bitterness. The way you stop proving yourself to people who never really saw you. That stillness you're feeling now, it's sacred. It's the soil where miracles begin to grow. Because peace doesn't mean life is perfect. It means you are no longer ruled by what's broken. It means you've learned to live from the inside out. It means you've discovered that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of purpose. And when purpose becomes your focus, chaos loses its grip. You begin to protect your energy. You become selective with your time. You stop participating in your own distraction. You are no longer easily shaken by delay, by rejection, or by the opinions of others. You're no longer surviving, you're becoming. So if you're walking through fire right now, but somehow feel calm, if everything is shifting, but something inside you feels still, don't doubt it. Don't explain it away. That's not you being numb. That's you being ready. You've been prepared for this moment. You've outgrown fear. You've outlasted confusion. And now your spirit is aligned. And when peace enters the room, that's often the final whisper before the breakthrough makes its entrance. And finally comes the most unexpected sign of all. You feel a strong, unshakable urge to let go. Not out of defeat, not out of despair, but out of quiet trust. You don't feel the need to control every outcome like you used to. You stop clinging to timelines, to people, to old definitions of success. You stop forcing doors that refuse to open. Something inside of you whispers, it's time. And without needing all the answers, without knowing exactly what comes next, you release, you loosen your grip, you let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means growing up. It means recognizing that holding on too tightly to the old can choke the space meant for the new. You begin to understand that surrender is a weakness. It's wisdom. It's knowing when your part is done. It's understanding that sometimes the breakthrough isn't waiting on more effort. It's waiting on less resistance. And that surrender you're feeling right now, that's not quitting, that's transformation. Because real power isn't found in control. It's found in trust. And the deeper that trust grows, the more courage you feel to step into the unknown. You no longer need certainty to move. You just need conviction. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work, and start asking, what if it does? You begin to walk lighter. You stop dragging your past into every present decision. You stop arguing with your own intuition. You stop demanding proof before taking the leap. That's how you know something is breaking open inside you. That's how you know your season is shifting. Sometimes The most profound breakthroughs don't come with noise, they come with release. A letting go of what you thought it had to be, a loosening of the story you kept telling yourself, a softening of the ego. You no longer need to have all the pieces. You trust the process enough to take one step, then another, and suddenly your life begins to move, not because you made it happen, but because you stopped standing in the way. You begin to feel peace about not chasing what was never meant to be yours. You start making space, not just in your schedule, but in your soul. And that space becomes fertile ground. That space becomes the invitation. Because letting go sends a message to the universe, to your future, to life itself. I'm ready now. I'm no longer trying to force what's not for me. I'm ready to receive what is. That's when things start aligning faster. That's when the right people show up, the right opportunities land, the right timing unfolds. Why? Because you're no longer blocking it with fear. You've traded resistance for readiness. You've stopped gripping and started flowing. You've emptied your hands so something greater can fill them. So if you've been feeling that urge lately to walk away, to release, to breathe a little deeper, trust it. That's not the end. That's the beginning. The part of you that needed control is falling away, so the part of you that walks in faith can rise. And that deep sigh you've been exhaling lately, that's not exhaustion, that's alignment. So here you are, standing on the edge of everything you've cried for, fought for, and quietly hoped for in the dark. And maybe the road behind you has been long. Maybe it's been filled with delays, detours, heartbreaks, and silent battles no one else could see. But don't you dare let that make you forget one thing. You made it this far. And that alone is proof enough that you were built for the breakthrough you're about to walk into. The resistance, the release, the stillness, the subtle signs, they've all been working together to prepare you. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You didn't just wait, you grew. You didn't just endure, you transformed. Now it's time to stop questioning if you're worthy of what's next. It's time to stop waiting for permission. The moment you've been praying for is not somewhere out there in the distance. It's unfolding now, inside you, through you, around you. This is your moment. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally aligned. You've done the inner work. You've faced the mirror. You've let go of what needed to die and made space for what's ready to live. The shift isn't coming. It's already begun. And the only thing left for you to do now is this: move forward. Boldly, unapologetically, relentlessly. So rise with your head high and your heart steady. Walk like you already carry what you've been waiting for. Speak like the breakthrough is already behind your breath. Believe like the evidence doesn't need to show up for your faith to be real. The time for waiting has passed. It's time to walk like it's already yours. Good luck on your journey. Stay focused, stay grounded, stay unstoppable. And from the depth of my heart, thank you.